Hey guys, you're watching Team APS. I'm with Trell here. I feel like it's been forever since just the two of us have been.
I know we got so many.
We got that Larry guy, and then everything went to.
And then we had two other guys that look alike. We just can't get rid of them.
So we're gonna try to help you guys out today. Some of the newer players who don't know what is draw power in Yu-Gi-Oh, and why it's important, how you can use it, what some of the best draw cards are. If your deck even actually needs draw power, it might not. So yeah, what is draw power?
Draw power is basically just free advantage. Draw power is
It's deck cycling.
It's advancing your game state or
Getting closer to the cards you need.
It's options. It's bottom line. It is options. It is necessary. Mostly for winning the game.
I feel like we sound like one of those like tech commercials. Like, what is this medicine? It's options.
Side
it's
effects, man.
Freedom.
I know, right?
I mean, so draw power is basically any effect that draws you additional cards from your deck outside of just your draw phase.
Right.
So, you know, Pot of Greed, it's a meme, I know, but literally it's, you know, you draw 2 cards.
2 free cards.
It's very good because you want to get to the better cards in your deck as quickly as possible.
Right.
That's a lot of why people run 40 cards and all of that.
Optimizing. So.
There are reasons why you would need it. Of course, you need to get to good cards. You are maybe you're running a deck that doesn't really search its stuff.
Yeah, some decks are just kind of draw what you got, and just play that. So some strategies don't really allow for drawing, so you need extra draw power. Like I know one deck in general, it's kind of like Altergeist is one of those decks that doesn't really draw.
Yeah,
you know, they have ways of getting some cards out of the deck, but they're not a very fast-paced deck, and sometimes they need more pieces than what they have. So draw power is very important for decks like those.
And it comes in a lot of different shapes and forms. Most draw cards that you see will be, you know, just a spell. That's typically kind of what you expect.
And plus, it's the best. Even if it's not a spell, I mean, the spells are usually the best, really.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is basically just go through some of the best draw cards, why each one is good, what types of decks they're good in. I'll kick it off with the newest one, actually, Pot of Extravagance. So this is the one where you banish cards from your extra deck face down randomly, and you get to draw 1 card for every 3 that you banish, up to 6. So typically you're going to banish 6 cards.
Draw 2.
Draw your 2 cards. This is great, you know, you're sacrificing some things in your extra deck, but you're getting free advantage. And unlike some of the other draw cards we're going to talk about, this one's actually a +1. You lose your extravagance, you gain 2 cards.
Right.
It's a plus in card economy. What type of decks like this though?
One day we just talked about Altergeist.
Yeah.
True Draco. Basically any deck, because a lot of in Yu-Gi-Oh you have control decks and you have combo decks.
Right.
We're just putting them in a vacuum. So basically a lot of control decks are like this because they don't really require to use the extra.
Yeah, they don't need those cards that are in their extra deck.
They're literally
Altergeist,
True Draco, Altergeist,
Guru,
Soterra
Guru.
The Guru control is like a big one right now. Also the was it Mystic Mind?
The Mystic Mind deck for sure. Basically any deck where the cards in your extra deck are expendable.
Exactly.
You know, maybe you're using them as Ghost Reaper targets. Maybe you're using them just for like Super Poly or something. That's a perfect deck for Pot of Extravagance.
Right.
Because, you know,
they're
gone.
Yeah, they're gone. You don't miss them. It doesn't matter. You get 2 free cards from it.
Yeah, so all those decks can use it. Another card is Pot of Desires.
Yes, yes.
This is, I would say, maybe a little bit more accessible for more decks.
But mine is the price tag is like a lot more accessible.
Oh,
it's reprinted 1,000
As it
times
happens,
now.
it's also a lot cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper as well. But Pot of Desires is also one of my more favorite ones. When it first came out, that's around the time when Sure Nui was a big thing for me. You know, so we had multiple Omega and stuff like that, so we could abuse Omega's effect. But pretty much Pot of Desires, you're going to banish the top 10 cards of your deck and then draw 2 cards.
So early on, this is a really controversial draw.
It was like, do I want to banish 10 cards to get this? But it's also 2 free cards, you know. So basically, it just made people want to run more copies of certain cards in the deck because they don't want to banish them all.
And
to get
that
2 free cards.
is a great segue into why it's so good. So if you're running a deck that has multiples of cards,
right,
and you don't mind like banishing 1 of the 3 copies of something in your deck, then Pot of Desires is great.
It's perfect.
It just, you know, won't really matter. Or just if you're playing a deck where, you know, the cards in your deck in general just aren't important things, right? Then it's a good card. On the other hand, though, combo decks, I think, don't like Pot of Desires as much?
That's another on the fence type situation because a lot of combo decks play it because they want to see other combo pieces. The cards. But at the same time, you can banish too much. Like I've been in events where I've seen Blue Eyes players run it, and I saw one Blue Eyes player banish all 3 of his Blue Eyes from his deck. Yeah. What do? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where like it's very risky, but I feel like it's a high reward as well because the cards are pretty much free. It really is. You're not paying life points. 10 cards on top of your deck. 10 cards off the top of your deck to get to more combo pieces actually in the game or set up a great board. It's a small price to pay.
It's a small price to pay. So, I know people, they get kind of like bent out of shape about the 10 cards thing, but it really is a small price to play. It's it's another +1. And that's a big deal that you don't see in too many draw cards, is an actual plus in card economy. So I would say it's worthwhile. It's one of those cards where you probably don't want to run 3 outside of a few specific instances.
It used to, like when it first came out, it was one of those things where like everybody ran 3 because you wanted to see it. But as time has gone on, it's one of those things where like it's good to see it and you're not hurt if you don't see it.
Right.
Like Sky Striker still run it actually, but they play 3 of every card anyway.
Yeah, so they don't mind. The banishing doesn't feel like it matters.
Exactly. I mean, because they're banishing just to get into more pieces, into more drawing. I mean, they have things like engage 1 card to get so many more, and that them banishing 10 cards isn't that missed as it would be with other decks.
Yeah, I would say that just the 2 cards we just named, both the Pots, Extravagance, and Desires, are probably 2 of the most generic ones on this list that most decks can use. The next few get a little more specific. So there's Card of Demise.
Yes.
This one, you draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand, and then you also can't special summon the turn that you use it, and at the end phase, you have to send all the cards in your hand to the graveyard.
And your opponent takes no more damage for the rest of his turn after you use it as well.
Oh yeah, don't forget that part. It's actually don't be me. Don't forget that. This is good in more stun decks, I think.
Control decks,
slower paced decks where you're probably going to be using a lot of traps.
Yeah, you're trying to put your entire hand on the field. Like you're trying to get rid of all of it. You want to optimize your card demise, and you're not too worried about the cards that you have to get rid of, if you have to get rid of any cards at the end phase of your turn either.
Yeah. So yeah, what he means by that really is if you use card demise, you draw until you have 3 cards. So it's not a card you want to activate when you have 2 cards in your hand.
No, because you're not getting anything from it.
You want to set all of your spells and traps and then use card demise when your hand is empty, so you get 3 cards, making it a +2, which is huge. And then even after you draw those cards, you want to make sure you're playing a deck where you'll be able to either set them or activate them and like kind of consume them, get them on the field somehow or whatever.
Right.
And then at the end of the turn, the discard won't affect you. Or if it is gonna have to happen, it's stuff that you don't mind.
Really don't mind, or that you can recur back or whatever the case would be. Can I just note that this is probably one of my least favorite draw cards in the game.
It's polarizing.
Like. I mean, I get, and it really depends on what kind of player you are. But I just
why do you not like it? What's
the decks that play it are just not my thing.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'm not too big a fan on like the hyper stun strategies. But if you are, I'm not saying they're bad, but if you are, this is a great card. I think it actually works pretty well in Drew Draco. They come to mind.
The strategy that actually usually works really well, and I agree with that, but it's just not something for me.
You can't use it if you run hand traps. It's another thing to note. Definitely don't run this if you're like running 8 or 9 hand traps. They're gonna go.
I like Ash. I like Ash Blossom, so I can't do Card of Demise.
He's an Ash man. Oh, yeah. So the next one's a little more niche. Sekka's Light. Now this is new.
Yeah, it's kind of new.
This card, what is this? Actually, I don't remember its effect, like word for word.
Basically, you play it and you draw 2 cards, but then you can't like draw any other cards. Oh, you can't
use spells and traps for the rest of the duel.
And also, you can banish it and shuffle a monster from your hand back to the deck to draw another free card. So
this is. There aren't too many decks that can use this, but the ones that can get quite a lot of use out of it.
It's true. Thunder Dragons,
Burning Abyss. Monster Mash.
Just anything that's monster heavy. If you're extremely monster heavy, even some Orcus builds I've seen can do it. As long as you're a monster heavy deck and you are totally reliant on continue your game set with monsters, this card is perfect for you.
Yeah, the gist of it is you really can't be running other spells and traps, like at all.
The story.
And now if you're going to be siding them in, that's a different story. Then you could side out your Sekka's Light.
Right.
But basically, once you use Sekka's Light, there's no more spells and traps for you for the rest of the duel except another copy of Sekka's Light. Right. And that free advantage is basically coming at that cost. So again, if you don't run spells and traps, this is good. It's also a good way to kind of help fix hands.
True.
If there's like a combo piece that you'd rather have in your deck.
Or a garnet, as some always like to call them. No one wants to draw a garnet.
It can go back in your deck and you can still, get card advantage. I find this card is actually one of the ones that annoys me the most. Like when I'm playing against, you know, because like Chris plays BA and like he uses Second's Light, and
they always have Second's Light.
And like when they have it, they can just get so many cards so quickly, kind of out of nowhere. And it's like he activates the second one, like the next turn. It's like,
you just have them waiting for me. Just all BA players have Second Lights, and all Blue Eyes players have Soul Charge. That's just a rule of the game.
Now there are other more like deck specific ones. Sky Striker Engage comes to mind. You know, that's their specific draw card.
Right.
You play Orcus.
I play Orcus, so we have Orchestrated Return. You know, just pretty much we're getting rid of a World Legacy or an Orcus monster. You get 2 free cards. It's pretty much a trade-in, I guess you can say, if you want to call it that. Trade-in being another one of the cards.
Oh yeah, so
Allure of Darkness.
Allure, yeah, that's another good one. I think that those are also really great cards. These are basically going to be the ones that are like, you send a monster or banish a monster or something in that vein and then draw 2. So Blue Eyes like to use Trade-In, Galaxy Eyes. Yeah. There's a few other decks that do.
Even Allure of Darkness is really good for like Thunder Dragons.
Thunder Dragons, for instance.
Love that.
With Allure, you'll have to banish a dark monster from your hand after you draw. But if you're playing a deck where banishing those dark monsters doesn't really matter,
right, gets you a plus,
or gets you a plus
for free,
then you know that's a good one.
Free 99. Now, one we didn't talk about, but it's like I'm pretty sure everybody's probably screaming in the head when they're gonna say it. Upstart Goblin.
That's a good splashable one.
Right, I mean, like, and the thing is, Upstart Goblin is one of those things that's, especially with it being limited, it's kind of like been up and down because some people want to play it because it's that free 40th card or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And some people are afraid to play it because of the whole time rules. But it's an easy side out as well. But that 1,000 life points can make a big difference nowadays, you know, with the new time regulations.
I would say it's, you know, you have to kind of balance if it's worth it for your deck or not. But if you're at 39 cards when you're deck building and you don't know what else to put in,
Upstart,
you know, you can't go wrong with Upstart most of the time.
You cannot go wrong. It's just a free card for a free card, and it's a free side out card. Because let's be honest, when you're playing good decks, you're like, I don't want to side this out. This is one less decision that you have to make. So
now,
it's free.
There are some other ones that, like, you can tell me if you consider these draw power.
Okay.
Some people would call Dangers a draw engine as well as like a summon engine.
I don't, but I'm accused of it, so I mean, I'm biased here.
Yeah, the Danger monsters, you probably know about them. You reveal them, your opponent picks a card, they can get summoned in the field. Yeah. And so they will draw you a card when their effects resolve. Right. That can help you get through your deck. That's one, you know, way of playing it.
It's true.
Is it Mothman or Dogman that also does the both players like discard and draw? Yeah, so that can be a thing.
Dogman's trash, unless you want to say.
Phantasme, in its $100 glory, some would consider to be like a draw card. No? He says no. You know, I mean, it gets you.
Yeah, I'm saying no.
You can draw, and then
you can, but you know.
You probably can't afford it. That's probably.
I guess technically, I guess we'll call it that because we did say engage, and engage you have to have three spells in the graveyard for it. So I guess we can call it. We can go that route and say Phantasme as well. I can agree with that in that case.
Yeah, so, it's. You know,
because engage requires a setup before you actually can draw too. So I can.
If you happen to have $100 or $300, just kind of sitting around, burning a hole in your pocket, you can buy 3 Phantasme.
No, give it to me. I am a college student. I am a father.
No, we're just desperate here. So those are some good draw cards you can use. Now, the last thing I think that we should probably touch on is there such a thing as too much draw power?
No. And the reason why I say no is because I've learned from playing a lot of other TCGs that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is probably one of the few games that doesn't have as much free-flowing draw power. Like a lot of our draw power is either limited or it's a hard once per turn as is anyway. So I don't think there's too much, I mean...
I would argue when deck building there is, like, I think that whenever I play decks that have like a lot of draw cards, you can sometimes run into that problem of like, drawing draw cards with your draw cards and not actually the things you want.
Like desires into desires.
Yeah, desires, and you banish 10 and like you draw like another desire. It's like, So I mean, you know,
I
don't know if there's like a perfect ratio or anything, but
I want all the cards. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I think the draw power is more often than not is something that you should try to find a place for in your deck.
I want a hand like a good hand of spades. I want everything. I'm just telling you right now.
So yeah. That is basically kind of your primer on what draw cards are, why they're so good, which ones you want to run.
Right.
Hopefully this is informative. If you found it good, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd love to have you. We've got plenty more videos like this coming and fun skits.
Oh yes, indeed, indeed. Hope you guys like the skits we put out so far.
So some ending notes. We have a P.O. box now.
We do?
We have a P.O. box.
Holy
it's in the description.
Yes.
You can send us things. We'll open them on video. It can be fan mail. It can be cards to sign. If you send cards to sign, please send return postage.
Because we won't send them back if you don't. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah. And join our Discord. We'd love to have you. It's a fun place.
Talk to us. Be our friends. We need them.
Oh yeah, and since I've got this on, buy stuff from Inked Gaming. Use the code APS10. Get 10% off. Alright, I think we've gone on long enough. So that's going to be it. See you guys in the next one.
In our turn.